Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is the concept of commanding your energy, of being in front of your energy and where it is going at all times. I am not suggesting that anybody should be perfect in this approach, but there are so many times of the day where we lose track of where our energy and our attention is flowing. When we get into the mindset of the metaphysical world and we start to understand that there are non-tangible aspects of our experience that we have access to that we don't necessarily get taught about in schools, maybe even through our own families, and oftentimes not even through religion. And then we start to study these things and we start to understand that energy is completely real, that when you walk into a room and the energy shifts because of what mood you're in, because of what you're bringing to the table, is actually a real thing because you've experienced it so many times, and you don't need anyone to convince you about the non-tangible aspects of this experience that we call life because you've experienced them yourself. When we start to get into that realm of things and understanding how energy moves around a space and how it's connected to us and everything that we do and how it's even connected to these inanimate objects that we have hanging around in our spaces, then we can truly start to revamp and overhaul our life in all of the spaces energetically. So some of the ancient practices that I've seen people use several times, like if you go to places like Brazil, they'll use the Palo Santos, and you go to like Native American reservations here in the United States, they'll use the sage, and they'll do the sage, is what do they call it? I'll say dusting, but there was other terms they use for it. And it's generally to cleanse the energy in the space. It's a tangible ritual used to cleanse energy in different spaces, depending on who was there, what occurred there, and what type of energy they want to bring in and which kind of energy they want to push out. So when you start thinking about energy being like that, like this glow around you, and like this force field around you at all times, and that whatever's happening with you and inside of you, it's like radiating off of you, you can start to think more like, man, my energy is super powerful. It can truly shift environments and change things. If someone else can come around me and I'm having a good day, and somehow something they do or something they say or some attitude that they have completely shifts my attitude and my mindset, just think about what my energy can do if I wanted to place it on something more powerful and I wanted to put it on something that was more positive for my own life and my own development. If we kind of check in with ourselves several times a day when we're like meandering around and we're not doing much and we're kind of just doing life, think about where your thoughts are going. Think about what your energy is being attached to. Do you feel tight or tense on the inside? When you're feeling like that, what are you thinking about? What are you sending your energy towards? When other people have problems with us, or they have like an issue with us, or they're negative towards us, we can feel it. We can feel it when we're in their space. And we can also feel it even if they do something like send us a text message, or even if they do something like send us an email. It's like we can feel the energy behind it radiating off of this, very tangible thing into our non-tangible space. So when we think about commanding our energy, we have to be very focused on, where do I want my attention? What do I want to grow? And what do I want to expand in my life? If I don't want it to grow, if I don't want it to expand, if I don't want to live and bask in it, then I can't put my energy and my attention towards it. Learning how to command our energy gets us out of the space of being a victim towards everything in life, and we get to be the chief. We get to be in charge. We get to be the person that's making all of the decisions. We get to be the spiritual being that understands its true purpose and its true calling and why it is here on this earth. And it's not to be subjugated by other people and subjugated by our mindsets and subjugated by ourselves, right? It's to be here and to be strong, powerful beings to where we can create and we can expand and we can grow and we can continue to spread light amongst all groups and all environments that we come in contact with on a regular basis. Commanding your energy is about being in charge of you, being in charge of your person, being in charge of your spiritual being, as opposed to just thinking about your physical being. Your spiritual being is always sitting there and always waiting for you to tap in and say, oh, wait, you're ready to use me. You're ready to embody this truth that we know is true all the time, that you're okay, you're safe, you're whole, you're already happy, you're already free, you already have everything you need. You're ready to embrace it. When we get out of the spiritual spaces, that's when we're feeling the need, the lack, and the feelings of not enough and not having enough and not doing enough and not being enough. When we start to command that energy on a regular basis, that means we're getting into alignment with ourselves and we're experiencing the spiritual version of who we are on a much more regular basis. And when we realize how powerful that is, then we can get in alignment first and then start to direct that energy into different places. I was just recently having a meeting with someone, which I would love to have them as a new client for some work that I'm doing. And right before the meeting started, I sat there and I did this whole affirmation type prayer to myself. I was like, bring the right words, the right mindset. If it's the right connection, that's the only way that I want it in my life. Something that matches the frequency that I'm at, or even better, that is it. And it was such a beautiful, peaceful prayer and affirmation that just came out of nowhere. And what I was truly doing was getting into alignment and tapping into the spiritual body that's already existing all the time. And I was commanding my energy so that I wasn't split in 100 different places when I started this conversation. I was present, I was available, and I was open to any thoughts that wanted to flow in my head that were the perfect thoughts that would create the perfect words to have a conversation about what we needed to discuss. In those moments when I see myself being formidable in my own life and creating my own energy center and not allowing anything someone says and how they show up to knock me off of it, I feel like the most beautiful and the most complete version of the human existence that there possibly is. When we understand that what we are living in this life is an energetic exchange all of the time, then we don't take it lightly. We don't take it lightly that our energy is being used by something or someone at any given time. If our thoughts are always headed into what somebody did us wrong and what we don't want them to have, what we don't want them to do, and how people can't be and what they should or shouldn't be doing and all that stuff, then we're siphoning off our energy into places that are not serving us in any kind of way. So I guess what I want you to take from this entire video is that think about on a regular basis, how are you commanding your energy? How are you getting in front of everything that you do and every intention that you have and saying, where's my energy going? Where am I split? And how can I refocus it? It's like a laser beam to a certain degree. How can I refocus it? How can I get on track and push this all into one place, right? I was like, I want to be peaceful. I want to show up as whole. I want to show up as happy. I want to show up as educated, thoughtful. I want to show up even as free, and I want to show up as peaceful. And if this is not the environment for that particular thing to grow, I still want to be centered in that space. And sure enough, the interaction was very high level. It was very peaceful. It was very thoughtful. It was very clear, and it was very easy. And I know that me sitting there commanding that energy before this interaction even started was one of the biggest reasons why I had that experience. Now, I can't say what everyone else was experiencing, but what I do know is that when our energy is powerful, the most powerful is when we have commanded it. And if we walk into most spaces where we are commanding that energy and we are putting ourselves in alignment, it's going to take over the environment. If everybody was feeling negative or pessimistic or like something wasn't going to work out or be possible, or there's no way this is going to be something that we can pull off, you walk in a room with the can-do spirit, with the right mindset and the right attitude, and not worrying about what they say won't work or what they say is not going to be a good idea, your energy will take over the space. You'll embed hope in like peace and like freedom into environments where first it wasn't even existing before you walked into the space. That's why nobody can ever tell me that energy is not a huge aspect of how we continue and how we grow and how we expand on this earth and how we like get along on an everyday basis, because I felt it shift inside of me in different environments. I felt it shift away from me when I was too caught up in what was happening in those environments. And I felt it come right back to me when I commanded it to come back right back to me. So think about that today. How are you commanding the energy in your life? What are you using it for? How are you creating the environments that you want to experience? Command your energy, get into alignment, and be the most powerful version of you that you can possibly be. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.